Finally, this was it. The Epstein Files in their entirety.
We are producing more than 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images.
The fullest picture we have of the disgraced paedophile and sex trafficker.
I have pictures up on the wall.
The dozens of victims and the scale of his high-profile network.
They've been trying to stop Andrew from being a distraction, and now this has happened.
3 images appearing to show him on all fours over a woman.
From former royals to celebrities to politicians, these files continue to cause aftershocks around the world.
None of us knew the depth and the darkness of that relationship.
The Prince of Darkness is gone.
It's potentially the biggest political scandal of this century.
We've gone through hundreds of thousands of files, emails, and photographs. So let's get into it. At the heart of this is the life and the crimes of one man. But this is a story about the survivors, the royals, the politics, and the famous faces. Most importantly, the survivors, who have fought for years to bring these documents to life. These files aren't just about lurid photos or ill-advised friendships. They document in precise detail exactly what Epstein did. One document here shows a list of some of the witnesses. It looks dry and methodical until you see the ages, 17 years old for all these victims. At high school, these were school children and they were abused hundreds of times. Other victims described being raped and beaten in graphic detail. Victims' journals are also included in the files. One victim took this pre-branded title, Flights of Fancy, and altered it, so it read Flights and Yachts of Horror. Some survivors spoke to Sky News after the files were published. For some, it brought back memories of what they went through. For others, fresh anger at not being protected.
One of the young girls came to the door and said, you know, Jeffrey's ready for his massage, and argued with the girls for a little bit because I don't know how to do a massage. And they said, well, you have to, you know, he requested you. So I went with the other girl who brought me to the island. I went into the room to do this massage, and the massage turned into sexual assault.
What we're seeing with the files is that there are extreme redactions and then extreme neglect to redact. I mean, a 5-year-old could have done a better job redacting these files with color-coded crayons. It is an embarrassment that our Department of Justice put this out as their very best work. It is shocking the damage that this Department of Justice has done with the way that they have released survivors' personal information out there when they literally had one job, which was to redact survivors' names.
In a letter to judges overseeing the cases brought against Epstein and Maxwell, U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton wrote that the department had taken down nearly all materials identified by victims or their lawyers, along with a substantial number of documents identified independently by the government. For years, we have seen Epstein through the prism of his relationship with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and the disgraced former prince, along with other former royals, were a crucial part of this release too. The best-known victim of Epstein was Virginia Giuffre, who died last year, and the files appear to support her version of events.
These are the puzzling pictures of the then Prince Andrew. 3 images appearing to show him on all fours over a woman who's lying on the floor. We don't know who she is or where and when the photos were taken, and Andrew has always strongly denied any wrongdoing. But once again, we're learning how close he was to Jeffrey Epstein. Exposing emails reveal more about their relationship and how Andrew continued contact after Epstein was a convicted sex offender. Inviting him into the inner sanctum of royal life. We could have dinner at Buckingham Palace and lots of privacy, Andrew writes. Epstein replies, BP, please. And here, Epstein offers Andrew dinner with a Russian woman. Andrew says, great, any other information you might know about her that might be useful to know? Like, what have you told her about me? And have you given her my email as well? From Epstein, she 26, Russian, clever, beautiful, trustworthy, and yes, she has your email. Andrew claimed he cut off all ties with Epstein at the end of 2010, but emails suggest the two men were still in touch. And far from their friendship ending, Andrew and Sarah Ferguson were being helped financially by Epstein.
And the files necessitated a response from Andrew's wider family.
They've been trying to stop Andrew from being a distraction, and now this has happened.
I think it's all really important always to remember the victims and who are the victims in all this.
Andrew's younger brother, Edward, the first to be forced to respond on an official trip after those Epstein files were released, the first member of the royal family to talk about it. In some ways, really sticking to the official line, because you might remember in a statement back in October, when Andrew was stripped of his titles and his home, we heard that the King and Queen's thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Now, while Andrew and Sarah Ferguson have continuously denied any wrongdoing, with Sarah also suggesting she was being blackmailed by Epstein, this latest release of files have again given us a bigger picture of the relationship between the Yorks and Epstein, and the fact it continued well after his conviction of those paedophile charges. One of the latest emails also shows that Sarah took her daughters Beatrice and Eugenie to Miami to see Epstein 5 days after he was released from jail. The first email comes from Leslie Groff, who is the assistant to Epstein, saying to him, regarding the flights for the Duchess and the girls from Heathrow to Miami and from New York to Heathrow, we were able to get the girls on economy round trip and the Duchess on business round trip. Do I have your permission to purchase these tickets? There's then an email from his assistant to Fergie's assistant, Amanda Lewis, which says, Amanda, can you please let me know where the Duchess will be staying while in Miami? Amanda then replies to Leslie, saying they'll be with Jeffrey at 1 o'clock for lunch. I hope this is okay. And then the final email is actually from Sarah Ferguson to Jeffrey Epstein, in which she says, it'll be myself, Beatrice and Eugenie. Are we having lunch? And Epstein replies, yes, vegetable lasagna. All of this extra information has just led to more demands for both Sarah and Andrew to open up more about what they knew, what they saw, and to help those authorities looking into Epstein's crimes.
And a reminder that being included in the files doesn't imply any wrongdoing. They stretch back decades, but they've set a bomb off under